So we're here again in an internetless room. We don't have any internet; it's all gone. But that doesn't stop us from talking about Impact Wrestling.
Boom.
This is the Wrestling Guild. My name is Chris Mary Haltman. With me, I have Nick Anderson, also known as the Man of Fair Play. Oh, excuse me, I'm choking on my own saliva. We're going to talk about Impact that was on the 16th of November. Didn't really follow the format from the week before, which we were saying that was a good format, but they didn't really follow it this time.
And it was quite short as well. I mean, it went pretty quick. I mean, the episode was as a normal episode,
yes,
but it went through really quick.
Yes, even though didn't have, and it would have. I mean, we said that last week too, that it went quickly. And I think that there were more viewers this week for this episode, I heard. So there was a rise in viewership, which is good because I think this was definitely the kind of episode where you could bring in more viewers.
Okay.
I think there's more because the crowd was lively. There were some good matches interspersed with
Yeah, I like the audience. They were more into the matches at this point.
Well, I mean,
sometimes.
No, but I think it is, if you put in a Canadian in the main event in Canada, you're going to get more.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So I think that they did the right thing. I think. So what happened first?
Yeah, well, we'll say which Gail Kim comes into the Impact Zone.
Well, she comes. She
comes with her suitcase,
which I don't understand why, because wasn't like she changed. There, she was already in the same outfit. They always walk around with those cases.
And we start off with a exhibition match.
Yes, we have a cold open, as it's called. It's a trios match. A kind of a strange combination because we have Caleb Conley, Trevor Lee. We understand that. Andrew Everett must not be in Canada right now because they tagged together with Ishimori, which seemed odd because Ishimori isn't really a heel, but I don't think he's anything really. Versus Sanjay Dutt, Desmond Xavier, and Garza Jr. Still heavily taped up Garza Jr.
Still, like his other arm.
It worked better this time, though. It seemed like he was doing better because he could do more moves. But still, once again, I thought that this was odd. I understand that they maybe want to put Garza Jr. because he's anyway there. But I'm thinking Braxton Sutter. We now know that Braxton Sutter is there. Because we also saw him again today because he was eating with Grado.
Yeah.
So why not put him in there?
I mean, because he wants to wrestle, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, why would, Because, I mean, he's not a bad wrestler.
No, and the thing is that if Garza Jr. isn't 100%, why not just put Sutter in there? I don't know. Strange decision. How did you? I thought that this was good, fast paced. It was over quickly. But everybody got in their moves. I like the fact when everybody comes in and hits an impactful move, and then the next person comes in and hits an impactful move. I thought that was well done.
I think Trevor could have done more. He was just in here. He was in the beginning.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing. I think he's supposed to be a cowardly. Yeah. I can't remember who won. I haven't written it down.
Wasn't it?
You're always.
I should be.
He's always trusting that I have all the results. But there you go. You go. But I think the Faces won, didn't they?
Sanjay Dutt, Desmond, and Garza won.
Yep,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yep. Well, that was that good start to this episode. Not knowing crap. The thing was, I for once I actually wrote everything down on my cell phone, and then apparently this doesn't save automatically. You have to press save. So everything was gone. So I think there was an X Division match in the beginning.
Maybe.
Well, anyway, it was a good match. It was a good open. I always like it when they open with an X Division match with a little. The only risk is that it becomes a little bit too. It becomes too repetitive that you have the same people in it all the whole time.
I was about to say that. I mean, I like the X Division match to be the first match you see because because of all the action. But now it gets a bit boring because it's always the X Division match. You kind of know what's going to happen in the beginning. I don't know,
but you don't know how the match is going to end.
I don't know how the match is going to end and who's going to be in it. But I don't know.
Okay. Yep. And what happens next?
Well, we have another match.
Yes, we have a Grand Championship match that comes out. This was surprising, but Falaba versus EC3, which is interesting. I was listening to an interview actually with Falaba on the Pat Buck Wrestling show, where they interviewed Falaba. And actually, it was quite interesting because you don't really hear Falaba talk. Yeah. His character doesn't talk, but he can speak. But it was interesting and actually a little bit surprising that they brought in Falaba all the way up to Canada for a Grand Championship match. But I mean, there he was. And EC3 versus Falaba for the Grand Championship match. How did you like this match?
I don't know. I mean, I like Falaba. He knows what he's supposed to do.
He got the audience going, though.
He got the audience going. EC3, a bit confused at the beginning. His moves didn't really work.
No.
So it's like, gotta start on something new. But I mean, the first match. What do you think about it?
No, I thought it was good. I thought that it was nice that they gave Falaba a win in the beginning. That he took the first round, and then obviously EC3 took the second round. For the first time, I think for the first time we saw Falaba like what he could do. And I mean, He's not a bad wrestler. He did a lot of good stuff, cool moves. They teased that he was going to win. He was going to hit the drop on EC3, but EC3 cheats. He rolls him up.
And he put his
feet on the rope. And they kind of do that because it's supposed to be like that they're getting extra pressure, extra leverage.
Isn't that like harder to actually put your legs up there and get like a steady...
Well, nobody said that it made sense. It's just what they do.
And I mean, because isn't that against the rules?
Yeah, but the ref didn't see it.
Oh, okay, so the camera saw it, but okay.
Yeah. Well,
good
classic. Point. Haven't you learned that yet?
Yeah, but I mean, it still pisses me off. God damn it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's what happens.
But you can't have Falaba winning that match anyways. So.
No.
It's cool to see his moves, but at the same time.
No, I think it was a good chance. Plus, it makes the Grand Championship. I think we haven't had a Grand Championship match in quite some time. EC3 hasn't really had a solo match in a long time. So I think that did a lot. That fact that they kind of brought it back, which means we'll probably see more Grand Championship matches, and we'll see what EC. I would have almost thought that since EC3 came out and punked out Matt Sydal the week before, that he would have gotten himself involved somehow.
To like have a storyline between Matt Sydal and EC3.
Yeah.
I mean, that could work. And it would be more interesting than Falaba and EC3.
Well, they don't have any history, Falaba.
No, I know, but this, I mean, you could have replaced this match with that.
I see what you say. I see what you're saying. We had actually, before this, we had gotten a little bit of a GoPro action from OVE and Sami Callihan. I think this is kind of cool, though, how they do that, where they just kind of like say crap and then move on. We were thinking that it was going to be the Barbed Wire Massacre coming up because we've heard so many rumors about it, but that's not yet. I guess they'll be fighting a little bit more. We had a second trios match, OVE, Sami Callihan versus LAX. I thought that this was probably my favorite, apart from the main event. I think this was probably my favorite match of the year. And the audience, for the first time in years, and I'm saying in years, the crowd actually chanted, "This is awesome." They did it twice.
This is awesome.
Yeah, they did it twice. This show, and I thought that put a smile on my face, and that I think that is something that shows that maybe people will be interested in seeing Impact this week as well, because they saw that the crowd was into it.
But I know what you're saying now. I mean, when the crowd is screaming, "This is awesome," it is really awesome, and it gives
Actually, that's the part that is awesome.
that's the part that is awesome. So yeah, I mean, it makes the match a lot better. It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And I thought that this wasn't close to what they did at Bound for Glory, but I think it was more impactful. And it was nice to see. I haven't seen a homicide match where he actually fought, because I guess he was injured and now he's back from injury. So he was actually part of the match, as before he was kind of just like off to the side. So that was cool. And we got to see what Sami Callihan could do. More hard hitting action in this. Good. The wrestling was good and hard hitting and stuff like that. Did a lot of really cool stuff. LAX ends up winning with the Street Sweeper on one of the Chris brothers.
Yeah, I think that was pretty fair. I mean, they've been losing against OV and getting a lot of shit from OV, so I think it was their time to shine.
Yeah, and this will obviously set up the feud going forward. But this was a really good match, and a match that I'm definitely going to go back and watch again. So that was cool. That's a good grade. As I said, LAX win with a Street Sweeper. It was a non-title match, so no title changed hands. And then we had a GWN flashback from the first ever Impact pay-per-view with the Ken Shamrock versus Malice. This was, I think it was a 20-man like Rumble match where the winner would win the title, and those left were Malice and Shamrock. How did you...
I mean, that was awesome. It was more hard hitting, and I don't know why, but it seems like more old school wrestling is more hard hitting.
Well, it depends on where it is. I think if you go even further back, it's less hard hitting. But this is we're talking the early 2000s. TNA was trying to be a little bit different, and also I think that the kind of grittiness of it, that the camera is it's not HD. I think that does a little bit to it as well.
And the audience, I were into it.
Oh yeah,
there were a lot. I mean, when the guy won, they were like, they were crazy. They were going wild.
Yeah,
they were standing up, clapping. So that was cool. But yeah, that guy's feet, ankle, like
the ankle lock that Ken Shamrock does. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, did you see how far he went?
Yeah. He was a master. He was actually an old MMA fighter. Ken Shamrock. He was I think one of the first like real MMA fighters, and also the first one that went over into to wrestling.
Poor ankle.
Yeah,
got hurt.
The guy got hurt. Then we get Dan Lambert and the ATT come up.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much comes out, starts bitching at Canadians as well.
Yeah, he does not like Canada.
I don't know why. What's up with it? I mean,
it's just cheap. I don't know. What's wrong with Canada?
Yeah, what's wrong with Canada? And then he goes like, it would be the Moose and his friend, as promised, yada, yada, yada.
He says also that, there's a bunch of crap about Canada. It says that they shouldn't come to Fort Lauderdale where he lives because they drive like crap and they're too cheap to spend money on stuff. But what it comes down to is that he says that Impact has promised Lashley his release so he can strictly go for MMA. He says that in MMA you make promises and you keep them, and that Impact has not fulfilled its promises and that he's going to burn it to the ground. I don't know if something happened here or if he got confused. It went too long because then Moose's music hit and he continued to talk, and usually that doesn't happen. I don't know if he felt he didn't get to say what he wanted to say and stuff like that. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. The good thing here is that you really have. I think a lot of people, what people kind of complain about is that you don't have like a real heel faction. That people are super heels, like really bad guys.
But that guy works.
But he is. He's doing that. He fulfills that role.
I mean, he's really talking shit about Canada.
Yeah, I know. And Moose comes out, says he's going to beat Lambert up, and then he says like, "Well, your crew isn't here," but I'm pretty sure that the crew was there.
They came with him into the Impact Zone, right? wasn't?
Well,
In the
when they first
beginning.
came to the arena, yeah.
In the beginning of the
And they're
episode,
just hiding in the back. I mean, obviously Moose didn't know what was going on.
So yeah, he goes for him, and what top team comes to rescue?
Yeah,
like
and
every
beats
single
him
one.
up. And then
Storm.
James Storm comes out and takes everybody out. And then, I don't know, that guy, that I hope that's a running theme. The guy, the scrawny guy with the neck brace that got choke slammed in Bound for Glory comes in and tries to beat Storm up. And Storm just clocks him in the head with a beer bottle.
You know how many times I replayed that? I think it was like 10 or 20 times. I should have made a meme. God damn, it was good. It was really good. Like, you don't touch him. And damn, boom. Oh, it was funny.
Yeah, and then Storm cuts a promo, talks about his history with the company, what he's done. And then he talks about what pro wrestling is. Not only everybody in the back, but all the fans and everybody who works behind the scenes and stuff like that. And obviously, this is setting up for his farewell match. I mean, it's starting to feel. I mean, you can tell that it's winding down. Question is, I mean, there are rumors that he might be going to the WWE, or at least there's just rumors. People are speculating what he's going to do, but maybe he's just retiring.
I mean, yeah, because how old is he? Like,
I think he's in his 40s, maybe. Damn. That's not, or late 30s, Because I think Bobby Roode, who is his partner, or was his partner in Beer Money when he referred to Beer Money, I think he's like 38, maybe 39. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's kind of time then, to
retire. What? Hulk Hogan wrestled well into his 50s. He's Ric Flair, who's like 7 million years old.
7 million. No, but I mean, I really hate to see Storm go, though. I mean,
but the thing is, we were talking about this last time. Like, he hasn't really had an interesting storyline. What do you do with him? I mean, I think his best years in wrestling are behind him. That's what I feel. He doesn't have like the presence of a Bobby Roode or the skill or ability of a Bobby Roode or an AJ Styles and stuff like that, who are people that are the same age as he is. And so I don't know. It's difficult to say. Mm-hmm. It's difficult to say. But he's talking about what pro wrestling is, and then he kind of leaves. Okay, so then we have our Pluto TV Rewind. There's Chris Rock just talking about how good Impact is or TNA is.
Well, like, you think it's fake? Come down here and get smacked? What was it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think what they're doing with those Pluto TV Rewinds is that they're just showing like the names that have been in Impact. Because I mean, we had Hulk Hogan one time, we had Rowdy Roddy Piper, I think last week, and then this week they had Chris Rock. So I mean, I think they're just kind of highlighting the celebrities that have been part of Impact. I don't know. It's weird when you have a GWN rewind and a Pluto TV rewind.
But, and the Pluto rewind was what, like 7 seconds?
Yeah, but I mean, at least I think
that was all for Pluto.
Yeah, but I think they maybe get sponsored or something like that. So it's interesting, and I mean, it shows for people who don't know the history of Impact. It might get people interested in it.
Sure.
And then your buddy,
who
KM.
I don't know. What is he up to? I mean,
he wants to be friends with the American top team.
Like, you have the top team walking out, and then you have KM like being jerk. I mean, I don't know what does he want. What does he want from them?
I think he wants to. I don't know if he likes their style or if he wants to be part of. I don't know if he wants to be part of American Top Team, but I think at least this puts him in a storyline, because I was kind of wondering what KM was doing, where he is, and stuff like that. Lashley says he has to prove himself, so I'm thinking there's going to be a program between KM and Moose, maybe.
And then from there,
yeah,
okay. Smart.
So that he's going to try to take Moose out and stuff like that. Then we had a promo from Eli Drake. Good as always, perfect.
I mean, it's Eli.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have nothing to say really. I mean, it's like it was good that he does it well.
Yes, he is excellent at what he does. As I was saying, he's probably the best guy there right now. I mean, because you have Alberto El Patron and you have Johnny
banned.
Impact, but they were banned. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. They were banned from the arena, which is fine.
What do you mean, which is fine? That's
no, but I mean,
fine.
It gets, but it's fine because do we really need to see another fight between them in the arena?
Well, no, yeah. It's true.
You want people to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I thought it was fine that they didn't even talk about the backstage altercation, that they didn't show anything from it.
Oh, like flashback.
Yeah, because
recap.
it would have probably. I mean, I think that was good. It was a good strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as I said, you have Johnny Impact, who doesn't cut a very great promo. He's good in the ring, but he doesn't cut a very good promo. You have Alberto El Patron, that is, I mean, he has his strengths and stuff like that. But I think Eli Drake is just too crisp all the time. Alberto El Patron kind of plays off the cuff a little bit, especially in his promos, and it can be a little difficult, just like we were talking about his promo Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
It's a little everywhere. And I think Patron needs more guidance when he cuts promos and stuff like that. Eli Drake is just naturally good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, we have a little Petey Williams vignette after that. That was fun to see. That's good. Not too long, just like a little thing about Petey Williams and his time in Impact. And then we have Gail Kim and Ali talking in the back.
No.
Yes.
I mean, yes, but no. Yeah, and pretty much they come out to the ring, and Gail Kim pretty much says
she's going to retire. She's in her 40s. She's like 41 or 42 or something like that. So, and she might feel it in her body. I mean, she's done it for a long time, and she's been in the WWE and she's wrestled all over. And she may just feel like she wants to settle down. I don't know if she's thinking of having kids. It's a little late.
40.
41, 42. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
pretty
super late, but I mean, it's anyway. But her husband is older. Robert Irvine already has like 2 grown daughters and stuff like that. So I'm not thinking that he's maybe not interested in. And maybe she just wants to support him going around because he is like a top chef of some kind and has several restaurants. So,
yeah, well,
so
it's sad to see, but
yeah, it is. It is sad to see, but she feels it. And this is what happened. We were talking about that. What happens when she decides to retire, if she has the title and she relinquishes the title, and it has been announced through social media that they're going to have a knockouts
it's announced?
like a tournament or a cup, as it is, knockouts cup. So we'll see. Obviously, if you look at the brackets, there are a lot more brackets than there are female wrestlers in the company at the moment, unless you count. I mean, because the thing is, are they bringing in Amber Nova? Are they bringing up Ava Story to be up there?
Story.
Because otherwise, really, you have Ali, you have Rosemary, Sienna, Diamante is still injured. They were talking about that at the show that she had a knee injury. She's not going to be doing it. They were also talking about Tessa Blanchard has signed with the company, so she'll probably be there. And then they were also talking about, I heard on Wrestling Inc. that there's a woman who is signed with the company that we haven't seen yet. But they could also bring in some of the people that they've been showing on like Border City Wrestling.
Yeah, cool.
So,
because we need more females.
Yes, we need really more women. We do need more women. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see. Grado is back. He's having a bit of a nosh in the back with his buddies, and then a really rough-looking Joseph Park shows up, and they all leave, and that's where we see Braxton Sutter. He's there and goes. He leaves. I guess no repercussions for him fighting with Caleb Conley.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I mean, you have Parks coming out. Looks dead. I don't know. I mean, he had like all his beard and everything, and it was white. And he came out and he sat there. He's like, "Yo, what's up?" And everyone leaves like, "Get." But yeah, he talks to Grado.
And he says he's sorry and gives him back his visa. And he also blames Abyss for the whole affair, the whole problem.
Which is him, but
yeah, well,
half
and half.
But that was,
and then a really scruffy looking Mountie. He comes, the Canadian Mounted Police. I'm fairly sure that he's not really a Mountie.
Yeah. Really? Are you sure about that?
Positive.
This guy comes from like Toys R Us and has like a costume on him that says he's like the Canadian police, and he has to come with him because the visa is only for America.
Yeah, but now he can marry.
Oh, bada bing, bada boom.
Maybe he'll marry Laurel Van Ness now.
But she's so weird. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
I don't
she's
know.
good looking, so weird doesn't
Jim-
really matter. I mean, Grado's weird too.
Yeah, true. He's not perfect.
Anyway, so that's what it is. So they deported Grado from Canada, which leads us to the main event of the evening, Global Championship match. Petey Williams, the Canadian destroyer, Maple Leaf Muscle, as he calls himself, and he shouted it out actually during the match, versus Eli Drake, the Perpetual Motion Machine. Jimmy Jacobs comes out and sits down, and he sat down, and they did the selfie thing again,
They were,
throwing some shade.
yeah. I saw it like, yeah, we could take a selfie. Why not? Oh, there's no problem.
Yeah. Of course, so it was nice to have Jimmy Jacobs on commentary the whole match through, so that was fun. It was also fun that JB came to the announce table. It's just like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah,
right in the middle of the match. He came out to a huge pop. Petey Williams did. Chris Adonis is there, interjects himself. I thought that this was a really good match, and I think they did well. I mean, even if I think there's a general idea that it's difficult for a heavyweight like Eli Drake to take on a cruiserweight or a light heavyweight or an X division match guy like Petey Williams. And Petey Williams is smaller. I mean, a guy like Braxton Sutter or Garza Jr. or even Matt Seidel, they have the height and the build to look like a heavyweight as well. I mean, you can conceivably believe that they are heavyweights, so they could work in that division. Petey Williams is a lot smaller, but I think they did really. I mean, he got a lot of offense in. The crowd was really into it, especially when he was standing on Eli Drake's balls and singing "Oh Canada," and then he just kicked him in the thigh. No, I think this was a really good match.
It was a good back and forth. Many like false pinfalls and
the fact that I don't know if I completely agreed with him hitting the Canadian destroyer and not being able to pin Drake.
You mean it was a shit Canadian destroyer? Or
I mean, the thing was that they kept saying that nobody has ever kicked out a Canadian destroyer, and then Drake does it. When Drake had taken a lot of punishment before. I mean, it would have been different if, say, he would have hit it if he was fighting, say, like Lashley, and Lashley had been just taking a bunch of punishment and kept coming back. He hits the Canadian destroyer, then it would have been more believable that Lashley would have kicked out. But here, Drake had taken a lot of hits. He had taken a lot of punishment.
Yeah, the Canadian destroyer came there in the end.
In the end, when they were both tired. But the thing was that, and what was really cool was that back in the day, when Petey Williams was first like going through everyone, he had a feud with Chris Sabin, and Chris Sabin was like the only one that was able to counter the Canadian destroyer. Not that he kicked out of it, but that he countered it, and he countered it the way Eli Drake countered it the second time, where he went down. So that was kind of like a throwback to this is the way you win over the Canadian destroyer, but Petey Williams kicked out of it, so that was kind of cool. That was like a throwback to the old days. So that was cool. It was a good match. In the end, Eli Drake hits the gravy train, and that's it for Petey Williams. But it was the crowd chanted, "This is awesome," which was rightly so. They didn't do any crazy moves in this. So the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome," just because of the match itself, and that was really cool.
I don't know. I mean, these two individuals, they're on the same level, and they could actually like wrestle together and good. They work a lot. They work very good together.
Yes,
they really
very well. So this show, I'm gonna give it a solid B, maybe even a B plus. I thought that they did well. It was the right amount of length. I would have liked to maybe see, or I don't know. Last week's format was probably because they just wanted to get the longer matches in. This week's format, sure, they had the longer matches, but they had to throw in some storyline too, because we have to see why people are fighting each other, because you just can't have matches. I mean, you have to have a reason for people. And that's what I remember. Dutch Mantel was being interviewed on The Art of Wrestling about that, and Dutch Mantel is obviously the booker, or one of the bookers for Impact Now, and he said that that's the reason why he thought that MMA was going to die out, eventually
Because
there's no storyline. There's no point in them fighting against each other. So a B for me.
B for me. I would say a B as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy, and like you say, we had some really good matches. LEX and OVV was really good, and PD against Eli was awesome.
Off the chain, as it were.
So I mean, I'm happy. I am satisfied. I'll give it a solid.
Yes, and you did see the barbed wire massacre. We talked about that last week. That we're going to, but I think we'll save that for when the barbed wire massacre happens. Yes. So, for Nick Anderson, my name is Chris Mary Holtman. You can follow us on all social media platforms. Too many to count these days. You cannot follow us on LinkedIn. It's easier to tell people where they can't follow us. You can follow us on LinkedIn or Tumblr or Vine, just because Vine doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yeah, it's gone.
Until next week, have a good week, a good wrestling week, and boom.
Peace out.
Okay, is that what we're doing? Peace out? Okay, peace out then.